Thank you, Madhu Sahab. It was tremendous wisdom that has come from your side. And two, sir, since you touched the air conditioner, although today my focus would also be a little bit on the actual energy train, because the transmission and all, as I told you last time, because that was missed out by many people. Think it produce hota rahega और चलता रहेगा, उसमें बहुत कमजोरियां हैं. But I would say, sir, why not look at from adiabatic cooling, why not go to non-adiabatic? This is the thing that we are not even looking at. While there's some experiments in Pune by, in one of the centers in Suzlon, then some experiment done at the building designed by Kirloskar, which was certified by Leeds. But these have remained experiments, I think, probably only to that extent. Then there is this, you are at the forefront of the standards for building efficiency norms. I feel there's something seriously wrong with that whole thing, sir. Because here we are not even included BIPVs in a very big way, because that would actually change the way we structure our buildings. Second is, somehow, the light that comes in, natural light, many buildings are not designed for that. Like in Mumbai, I say we are doing harakiri. We are making glass buildings. And I tell you, we are making these buildings so inefficient that it consume 30% more air conditioning. Because the absorption of the heat will be the highest, and these buildings will be environmental disasters for all of us. And we are living in the Mumbai with a seaside environment. The glass, I tell you, will already get piquant, literally, and its cleaning is extremely difficult. So I do not know who has thought about this. They think they're using less steel, they're using more glass, but I'm telling you, it is a 100%, I would say, disaster of sorts what we are doing. So I think somewhere a movement has to start in these directions, because as you rightly said at the end, that there is no end to this leaking bucket. And I do not know whether we should not train the architects, because they have no idea about what they are doing. You come to this hotel itself, if there are rooms in the hotel, you'll go, how many lights we are using to lighten the room. In our homes, the amount of lights that we use to have luminosity, and the hotel room, I tell you, it is a completely inefficient way we are designing this. So probably the hotel industry needs to be brought into picture. So I think all of this, in the lighting and in these areas, it is there. Another thing is the municipality, sir. Like Mumbai can produce virtually 3,000 megawatt. If only all the municipal corporations go to LED. They are interested in only the sodium vapor lamp business. You will know better why they are doing that. And I am not seeing anybody going into large scale LEDization of municipal corporations. And these will bring massive power back into the grid, if it is implemented. So those things are very big. It's not a big challenge, but I think with the type of leadership that we have today, we can do it. I think more than the community leadership, I feel people at the seat of power can do the first changes already, in these directions. And another very important area, as transport, you said, talked about, I tell you, sir, the Jatrofa revolution was killed because of the sugar lobby of Maharashtra. Because if Jatrofa extract, which is basically a solvent, and its characteristics of combustion are so good that it becomes an auto lubricant when it goes in while combusting. Results in one of my friends, his name is Basaviraj Birajdar, he uses his Indica V 2005 and he gets a 35 kilometers per liter efficiency at 60 kilometer speed, because somehow speed little bit gets affected, he says, and he has not done any modification on his car. And I saw that for the last so many years, Cummins itself has stopped testing that engine. While he says that the health of my bloody engine is better than the other engines, see, there's no carbon emission literally, it's absolutely close to zero. And this has got to do with political, I would say, skullduggery, protecting the sugar industry. And now that sugar industry will become very inefficient because it's converted all of Maharashtra's land into barren land. And when you have second and third yields, there is no yield only in sugar also. And fortunately for us, the private sector, and to some extent, they have adopted other energy efficiency measure, which is cogeneration. Sugar cogeneration, bagasse-based cogeneration has saved many of the sugar industry people. So it's a very big dichotomous situation that on one side, the inefficiency of the sugar industry exists, and now they are surviving using cogeneration, which is an energy efficiency measure for sure. So So these exist, sir. I just brought in front of you what is happening to us today, and we are not questioning any of these. I saw in the building design or building efficiency standards, there is municipal corporations must be forced to look at incentivizing future buildings which actually have the entire idea of zero discharge, low consumption. I'm not saying come to zero discharge, but as close to zero discharge as you go environmentally, because then we don't need to put our dirt into the nallas. We can treat it right there, and the technologies are available. Second is definitely the energy that building will consume in the long run, whether it's a dwelling. Like we have a venture called Eco Dwellings, which me and Hetal have started. It's a long way off. We want to provide flats at 5 lakh rupees to the common man, 360 square feet with this type of concept. So it is crazy concept that I don't know whether I'll be succeeding. Then we want to send this company off as a trust for the country. That it's it will create eco dwellings for our people to survive. So that Modi ji has talked about 2 crores urban housing. I feel we need about 25 crore, because when you have 50% of India's population living in urban cities shortly in 10 years time, I think we need to have some other model where we need to encourage this industry through probably REITs and a combination of those factors. So there also the energy consumption model will be impacted by these policy directions, and as well as a clear idea of what is constituting energy efficient building, energy efficiency construction norms, and energy efficient communities that we are going to create in the future. So I think we got a lot of insight, because for me also it's very insightful when I was hearing you. So what went through in the transport sector, how these hybrid cars came into existence. I went to Canada 2011. I was taken on a 450 HP truck on the highway, Canadian highway, and the truck was traveling at 250 kilometers per hour, speed, and it was not looking like it was traveling at a speed. And what it used is Ballard's reformers, basically the fuel cell based, which actually converted natural gas into a kind of a hydrogen and then operated. So basically it's more of a hybrid design of a truck. We don't have 450 HP trucks in India. The wherewithal to judge, because then unnecessarily we'll get into controversies. And if we do something, हमको क्यों नहीं मिला, हमने क्यों नहीं energy efficient lighting बनाया, हमारा क्यों नहीं देखा आपने, and all these guys, Philips, Bajaj, everybody will come at my throat. So I did not touch that. So, but I went to the macro perspectives which we discussed. That was also missing. Like, for example, smart gridding itself will bring back something like 100 gigawatt into the grid. If this country, not the lip service of the smart grid, but real, I would say, low-hanging fruits. For example, we introduce active harmonic filters. We introduce online fault location. We energy efficient and remote management of fault. I would say grid retrieval. I call it grid retrieval, quick grid retrieval mechanism. Then we use energy efficient meters and solutions related to energy efficiency over that. So if this smart gridding approach and ICT, that is information communication technology in both the distribution and the transmission, all of this together can bring, because we are looking at 2030 was the point you made, 32, 2 years. We're looking at close to 500 to 600 gigawatt. In fact, it will be before that. In fact, 2025 will be 500 gigawatt. So if I look at 2025 500 gigawatt, I tell you 100 gigawatt can be simply brought in. It will not look like 500, it will look like 600 or 700 gigawatt if you do it now. So these ideas I thought we should encourage, because already people are at the forefront of this revolution and things are happening right there at the transmission distribution corridor. So I would request today Murugeshan to say a few words when Mathur Sahib is present, because when Murugeshan ji's work at CPRI has also helped us. And one of the things is in high voltage testing also, we need to ensure that energy efficient products come into picture. May I request Murugeshan ji to come and address this forum, please.
Thank you very much, Professor Iyer ji.
There was one compulsory, and every examination you have to carry that what you did on 30.
It is my pleasure to meet all my elderly friends and younger friends, and I am very happy to share dais with Mathur ji. He is my dear colleagues in the Ministry of Power, and I worked with him especially on energy efficiency related certification activities for equipments, and he supported wonderfully for this development of a test facility, and the first air conditioning test facility was created an CPRA under BE's sponsorship. And I am not an expert like Mathurji, but I can tell from perspective of only testing one point. Otherwise, he covered the entire gamut of energy efficiency from home to transport. Only one point is that from the testing point of view that normally when any utility purchase product, the first thing is that they say that you please get it tested first and come back. So the small change in maybe the Bureau of Energy Efficiency stating that first you get the product certified, and they have a wonderful system of check testing. In fact, there are wonderful experience we gained on that particular things which is not still practiced in other conventional equipment testing. I think no company is going to the level of check testing. People get the certificate and produce it and market it. Everyone has a merry time. But check testing is very, very important, but that is practiced in Bureau of Energy Efficiency. But the only thing is that when we find some difficulties with a product, we are not able to go back. That results in slightly difficult situation. Maybe that one more step we introduce, that first you do the testing and you market it, and again you insist on the check testing. It will have a wonderful effect on products. That I request, though Mathurji is leaving Bureau of Energy Efficiency to another high profile post. So this is the one point which you would like to mention it. Thank you very much.
May I request Garg Saab, because Garg Saab नहीं बोले अभी तो चलेगा नहीं सर, क्योंकि माथुर साहब हैं, and already mentioned that because of your this thing it all came forward.
Well, I'll be very brief. What Mr. Mathur described, I can sum up. It is the attitude of the consumers which leads to the consumer behavior and which leads to the determination or the choice of a model. Rightly or wrongly in the country, in the electricity sector, we have a model which is a bottomless pit. Or we can say, every other industry, the more you produce, the more you sell, the more you earn, the higher you have the external economies and internal economies of scale and the better profitability. Our electricity sector is one where more you sell, more you lose. I mean, this is a unique model which I couldn't find anywhere in the world, on the internet or in the books of theory or marketing. So, looking at the consumer attitude, the consumer behavior, which is the essence of moving towards efficiency, towards survival, towards growth, towards reducing the carbon footprint of development, the whole thing is dependent on the attitude, how we look at it, how we take it, how we implement it. And that is where the essence is. We can have the machine, the best of machines, but if we don't have the attitude to save, to conserve, to preserve, to make the best use, we are going to have challenges. And in these challenges, the technology plays an important role. It is giving us the best of it, solar power. Initially, it is little expensive, but in the long run, it's going to be the balancing factor. And last but not the least, the resort to the energy security of the company. In the event of a war, in the event of any international disturbance which can take place anytime few years down the line, it is the coal and it is the solar which is ultimately going to provide the energy security for the country. In that, efficiency is an important ingredient both in generation, in transmission, and in consumption. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. May I request Ashwini to say a few words on this day, very important. Yeah.
Thank you, Professor. It was a pleasure listening to Mr. Mathur. I mean, you said everything that the country wants to know about the efficiency. I just, again, I'm a man of statistics, and I love to give some statistics that help the decision makers to see the enormity of a situation. First thing, Mr. Garg just said that the more we produce, the more we use. I don't know, India as a nation has been a nation of savers. When we save everything for the rainy day, why we cannot save energy? Anyway, maybe there has been some adulteration somewhere in our thought. But concerning the power sector, sir, first of all, I mean, this is a very healthy sign. A paradigm shift has happened from energy conservation to energy efficiency. Somehow I felt that energy conservation means to stop development, to stop growth, or limit growth. Energy efficiency is maintain this focus on growth, but be efficient. Wonderful. You talked about CS, you talked about inverter ACs. So inverter ACs are almost 30 to 35% costlier in the market than the conventional ACs. Why government cannot pitch in? When we have efficient machines, the hybrid machines, or the inverter technology, or any other technology, why government cannot take a small pinch in its economic efforts and reduce the duties so that they are competitive to the other models? And we are, I mean, let's see, as an ordinary individual, we don't look 10 years hence. We see what is there for us today. So if I have to pay 35% more for an inverter AC, why I should not go for a normal AC? And I will compute in such a way that if what I save today, I will invest it here and it will give me much better return. But government has to understand the way they have not understood the relevance of biogas, they have not understood the relevance of solar. They are much more focused in giving comfortable credit to Kingfisher, and they won't forward that kind of comfort in capital to entrepreneurs who really go for efficient machines. Government has to understand. So you represent the government, you are the policy planner. I'm sure this aspect has to be understood if we talk about efficiency. I can give you a very small statistic that I have that in the power sector side, if we improve the end user efficiency and what we call as the demand side management, 25,000 megawatt of power will be saved. Now, 25,000 megawatt is not, don't only go by the figure. Sir, let me tell you the figures. For 100 megawatt power generating unit, it consumes about 55 tons of coal per hour at the overall conversion efficiency of almost about 34-35%. Okay, sir? So 25,000 megawatt, if you compute, annually means I think 120 million tons of coal. 120 million tons of coal by incorporating simple efficiency measures will not be burned. There will be all the more lesser emissions, much lesser emissions, other than saving on this major aspect. So these are fundamental things. And also another statistic I have, that for every unit of energy that is saved, it helps us in avoiding creation up to 2 to 2.5 times of new energy. I mean, these are basic statistics. One more thing, India is the energy intensity of India is almost the highest in the world per unit of GDP growth. We are almost 3 times higher than Japan, and I think we are about 1.5 to 1.75 higher than US. Overall Asia, if I take it, we're still 1.3 or 1.4 times higher than average of Asia. So all these aspects have to be understood. So basically it shows that whatever machines we have, they are inefficient. Let's face it. Because why our energy intensity per unit growth of GDP should be almost 4 times more than of Japan?
However, if you take it on GDP on purchasing power parity basis, then we are almost as good as Japan.
Sir, is it a sort of a, normally what we hear from the government.
No. The point simply is a cup of coffee costs much less in India than it does in Japan.
Okay.
Right? Similarly, making a wall costs much less in India than it
So
does.
I think the purchase parity must be the same with Asia as whole.
Purchasing power parity for each country is different.
So let's talk about Asia. Asia also has Japan, and Asia also has Pakistan, and Asia also has Afghanistan. It must be.
5-star hotel coffee. 5-star hotel
So all these issues, I would request that the government has to understand, and let's hope we have a much efficient, generation to come, and we look forward to path-breaking efficiency norms and measures that our present government puts in. Thank you very much.
I think Mathur Saab would have spoken, but I think Dr. Mathur has to go, and we'll continue our deliberations for the day. Thank you, sir. हाँ जी, बोलिए sir. हाँ जी.
Take 1 minute with him.
Right, sure.
It's very useful.
Mike, please.
Mathur, I've been associated even before the BE was formed, right from the seas, and energy management center was there. See, what you have talked is absolutely wonderful. Even I came for that because you gave everything in a nutshell. What is happening is on the ground. Ashwini has talked, everybody has talked. Let's take up air conditioners. If you go to any government office, including where BE office is located in CEA, you get 2 stars, 3 stars. You never see beyond that. Everywhere. Now, Ashwin had talked very important that you go for inverter AC and spend almost 40% more today. It costs about 48,000 rupees compared to 35,000, and then you go down to 21,000. Go to any shop. I talk to very educated shopkeeper. Why you use 2 star? Okay, sir, it cost me 22,000. If you go to 5 star, it cost me 36,000. Now, I'm not just switching over to a very mundane thing, Professor Iyer.
Yes.
What you call that, when you control the temperature. In
Thermostat.
China,
Thermostat.
And go to any hotel, they are fixed at 26, 27 degrees.
Right.
You can't do below that. In my own home, I try to put at 26, 24, 25, 26. Why can't we put the temperature? Because now all the ACs, those remotes, are set at 18 degrees thermostat. Why can't you shift it up to 24 or 25, 26? Like a governor you had in the buses, These are very mundane things which can be done, and it can improve a lot. And one more thing which I would like to suggest we have, Professor, of course, made a point on this sunlight and all that. Because time is short, I would not. Instead of going in a big way when you change the building, we must conceptualize the ready-made modular fittings. Like leak, how much leakage in our houses there on the AC? Absolutely 30% we lose on that. These are very small things we can, of course, now in Terry you can do on much bigger scale, but still you have time. If you could infuse these things, particularly in thermostat, thermostat, now people like Hethel can get it designed and all that, and you can save a lot. Even with the older ACs, there is a potential of saving, because once you buy AC for 35,000, I won't like to throw it for an inverter next year. I have to use it for 10 years time. So these things should be built into the system, and then we can get a lot of advantage of it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you once again, sir. In fact, continuing the discussion today, sir, I want you to throw some light on the energy efficiency of coal at this point of time.
Not only in coal, I would say in every commodity.
Yes.
The recovery from the resource available is the basic, or rather first point where the efficiency should be maintained or increased. Like you talked of open cast mining and underground mining. In the overall resource today, I would say if you take 10 or 15 years, our recovery factor is very, very low. It is a miserably low as compared to rest of the world, and because we tend to lose, same in hydrocarbon.
Right.
Bombay High you have seen. You have to
Right.
replenish those wells and recovering those.
And in Assam, we are burning the gas.
Burning gas.
Doing
Same
nothing
in the
with it.
mines. I'll tell you a very slightly digressed example. This Malanjkhand copper mine.
Okay.
I think if you remember, it was 89 or 90. P.K. Lahiri was Secretary Mines.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier he worked as Joint Secretary in coal with. So they had Hindustan Copper had hired Japanese who came in, and they gave a quote of some $140 million to enhance that life of that mine by 5 years or 6 years. Then Mr. Larry once called me. I was in coal. He said, "Can you go?" And I said, "I have no experience of copper." No, we don't want experience of copper. We want a person who can think out of the box.
Right.
So I picked up another officer from Coal India. I said, "Come to Delhi," and we go to Nagpur. From there, the Hindustan Copper gave a helicopter to go to Malanjkhand. We landed there on the helipad, went to the mine. There was one Mr. Das, I still remember, who was the chief manager. Or I said, "What happened? Your mine has become," the mine had become a V shape.
Okay.
Totally, because there is no reserve left to be dug, and they had to shift the overburden. They have redesigned the mine. I said, "Where we landed the helipad, what is below that?" He says, "Sir, please don't ask." I said, "Why?" He says, "We have 18 million tons of ore reserves below the helipad, but we are not allowed to break the helipad because VIPs, they come and land there." I said, "There is a solution."
Right.
I, of course, made a report and came and told Mr. Larry, "You want me to write?" He says, "Yeah, why don't you write?" From next day, they dismantled the helipad. So Malanjkhand from Nagpur you can drive
Right.
easily. And the mine life was enhanced by about 12 years. With just a stroke of pen, I would say. I can say that.
Right.
So we have to think out of the box when we talk of the efficiency.
That's right.
Efficiency in the energy, of course, there is a mineral, but same in coal.
Right.
Now here I would apologize from you, because you are right, you are talking open cast mine which killed the environment, killed the land. But the recovery factor, or I would say mining method, basically depends on how the deposit is located.
That I agree with you. But I'm not
So
saying
what happened, but our discipline is very important.
Right.
That we must restore the land,
Exactly.
even to better condition than what we found.
That's right. That's the point.
There what happened, you have basically 3 advantages. You recover more ore,
Right.
more coal. You give a better environment, and most importantly, you create the land which is economically more beneficial than what it was before I started mining.
That is precisely my point. My point is, unless you leave it for
Unless
the
you do
communities
that,
in a
don't allow
sustainable-
them to do it.
Absolutely.
See, we are way back, there again I have to give an example. Way back, I think it was 1987, 88. This issue, when the new Forest Act came and all the
Right.
land restrictions came, we had a cabinet committee, land bank, all those things. I said, let's find out how much, what you call damaged land is available with coal industry. The figure was enormous.
I know.
Figure was enormous. We said, why can't you recover that land, give that land at least for forestry? No, sir, we are doing this, we are doing this, we are doing this. No, in mining, I'll tell you, it's very simple. If this area is coal bearing, I can dig it out, keep it here, again cover it,
Right.
and go on doing it without affecting the land outside.
But that process has to be followed.
That requires a discipline, that requires a concerted control from the supervision point of view, from safety point of view, and from enforcement point of view.
Right, sir.
Because our enforcement is very, how many, I don't know, many of you would have seen Appalachian coal field in the US. Just next to the highway, which leads from Washington DC to the west inside, you will find mines are there, but you can't see the mines.
That's right.
They dig it out. Within 3 months, they start restoring.
Push it back, yeah.
They raise the forest. Now there the forest is for different purpose. All the houses are built of wood.
Right.
They have to
And
cut
they
the
use the wood from the forest.
They wood, they-
which is also in UK, which is also in Germany.
Everywhere.
Germany, because
But
private forests are being developed.
So they are private forests. They can dig it out.
Right.
Mining is inevitable.
You will have to do it.
Civilization is there. You have to do it. A mineral has to be dug out where it exists.
100%.
Our law is different compared to the US. There the law is that landowner owns the mineral. Here no. The mineral belongs to the state, not even to the center, to the state. So we have to have a very creative approach when we design a mine. That first thing, we should recover the maximum.
Right. Then you have to settle back.
Business point of view. Second, I must restore the land back to it.
Yeah, that is an
And
obligation.
third, community whom I harm,
They have to be
they
engaged.
should be, I should treat them benignly. should be my friend rather than my enemies. If these things we can go together,
then we can achieve
the
success.
efficiency comes by itself in that process.
Great, sir, great.
In like open cast mine, I can recover up to 80-85% of the resource. In underground mine, many of you will be shocked to hear, my recovery is rarely more than 25%, 30%, rarely.
I know.
Why Jharia fires are burning from 1916. 77 fire spots are there. We are in last about 20 years we have spent about I think 10,000 crores and we could control only 5 fires.
Right.
70 are still burning for almost 100 years.
No, that there again the question
Because
is there.
of partial extinction.
I'll tell you, there is again a question. See, when we are saying underground, we're not talking about recovery of coal. People like us would rather go to coal bed methane and gasification of coal rather than going underground to take coal itself.
You are absolutely right.
The
Now
whole
what
idea has
happens-
to change, no, in energy efficiency
Professor,
terms.
you are absolutely right. Now what happens? Let us start from the surface. There is a limit up to which you can recover it by open cast
Right.
and restore the land. Then the limit starts, you go by underground.
Exactly.
The underground limit stops at about 500, 550 meters.
Correct.
People have gone to 900 meters, but they are all difficult, very difficult because the cost, besides the cost, the safety issues, the roof pressure,
Right.
the roof rock bus, the gas. Below 500 meters, the best is to go for underground coal gasification.
That's what I'm saying.
Because
That's
coal
an
bed
efficiency
methane is
measure.
different. Coal bed, this underground gasification, the world has been toying with this idea for last more than, I would say, 70, 80 years.
Right.
One mine in Australia, Chinchilla, was successfully working, now they're closing it. 2 mines probably in Poland, a couple of mines in China, and 1 in Russia. It's not working everywhere because the alternative energy sources, they emerge faster than
Correct.
they start declining this. Unfortunately, in our condition is different.
Right. Agree.
Other day, I was in this forum, and my friend, I think my friend Bambri was also there, where the Indian Oil chairman, you heard that by 2022, our oil import dependence will go up to 94%. You remember that? If we are, then I asked the question when Tripathi was there, who was chairing that former Secretary Petroleum. If I have to depend 94% on the import, why all this paraphernalia I am creating? Why can't I now take action to either recover more oil in my own soil
For sure.
or to reduce the consumption?
Right.
We are together, both of us, I think none of us other were there. 94% if we had to import dependence from today, today is 82% or 83%. 83%. If this going to 94%, import dependence, mind you,
I understand what you're saying.
then why all this public, this national oil companies, this
No,
company,
that's
that?
already coming. See, I'll tell you, it's already coming. I'll tell you why.
Now this has to be addressed by
No, I'll
people
tell
like
you,
you.
it is
because
not
you
only
can shout
addressing-
at the rooftop.
I'll tell you what is happening. See, you need to understand. See, one is, when somebody takes out this KG-D6, that case will come back again and again into this. Okay. Pehle to, you have to come to a hardcore black and white stage that a corporate of the top order of India cheated the country. So let us call a spade a spade. Till the day you don't call it, then all these questions. So if they don't do it, then you have to close down all these PSUs only at the end of the day. Otherwise, they will not survive. It will happen. It will come to that, and I'll tell you, there are asset owners with whom we are dealing. They will be very happily taking your asset. आपके यहाँ रिफाइनिंग कैपेसिटी बनेगी, आप इंपोर्ट करेंगे. और ये जो आप सवाल पूछ रहे हैं ना, इसका जवाब भी देता हूँ मैं. Cost of money is coming down, and don't be any qualms. All our banks have also to be closed. If they continue, I'm telling you the what I'm bringing. I'm telling you to the table, and I'm telling you I'm telling the government shortly on 5th November when Energy Awards will be announced. They will get the shock of their life at this very hotel at the poolside. That I am saying I am capable as an individual to bring at least $4 to $5 billion worth of credit into the country. So I am supporting Modi ji's initiative. He is fighting over there. People like me will come forward and we will say to banks, to hell with you. Today we are releasing, I'm not giving the name, we are releasing stressed asset of one company in the hydropower sector. And all the stressed assets of the hydropower sector are under ambit as far as Professor Iyer and his team is concerned. Because we very clearly know, you know what they're doing today? 30 lakh rupees they're taking to the door of the bank. After delivering 30 lakhs, I get a 25 crore ka bank guarantee. Bank guarantee I take, this bloody bank guarantee 16 to 18% interest rate, I go and put it in front of any market operator. Market operator takes my bank guarantee, gives me 25 crore हो गया. ठीक है? उसके बाद मैं कैसे चलाऊं अपने बिजनेस को? अच्छा, now second, you're talking of, I've shifted the argument from this to energy efficiency. Highest energy efficiency in hydropower. 58% conversion efficiency. What are we doing? We are treating it like a, absolutely I tell you, like muck. Nobody is bothered with hydropower people. Let them go to hell. You know. Now next, after this क्या हुआ उनके साथ? पता है आपको? The next biggest thing, harakiri we are doing is arbitration orders. How much? You know, I got a case. They come in front of me. Professor साहब, हमारे पास 1000 करोड़ का arbitration orders है. Orders. Orders. Arbitration order means money.
Money, only money.
You know what the people who have lost this case are doing? They're going to this court, that court. भाई arbitration order है. ये irreversible है. पैसा देना पड़ेगा आपको. आप क्या कर रहे हैं? आप उसको भी लेके जा रहे हैं 6 महीने और सताओ उसको 8 महीने और इसका खून निकालो. नहीं, इसका खून निकालो, चूसो उसका, इस कंपनी का. तो वो आप क्या कर रहे हैं? हमने उसका भी सोल्यूशन निकाला है. हम कहते हैं हमारे पास आर्बिट्रेशन ऑर्डर लेके आओ. हम सरकार नहीं, हम पूरे प्राइवेट सेक्टर वाले हैं. हमारे सोल्यूशन है कि आप हमको 1000 करोड़ का दोगे, हम 800-900 करोड़ कल दे देंगे सुबह आपको. और आपको कितने में देंगे? हम आपको बड़ा अच्छा इंटरेस्ट रेट पे देंगे. अच्छा, हमको इंटरेस्ट कैसे पे करना पड़ेगा? मंथली नहीं पे करना आपको. आप कब आओ? आप साल में एक बार हमको आके पे करो. मैं ऐसे सोल्यूशंस ला रहा हूं. तो मैं जिधर बैठा हूं पावर सेंटर से बात कर रहा हूं. That's why I keep my forum small and I want to talk with my spinal cord intact. Okay? So we are not victims of the government. So what I am trying to explain to you, I would like Mathur to speak because his assets are stressed the highest with the highest energy efficiency. Boliye Mathur Sahab.
Good afternoon.
G.N. Mathur is former advisor now to the Ministry, Power Ministry, and a man who has literally done everything in the hydro sector. Will tell you what I am telling is truth or not.
Well, gentlemen,
good.
Professor Iyer is talking about the issues in the hydro sector.
Right.
Well, gentlemen, I would like to take few minutes out of your...
Sir, पहले बताइए most energy efficient power generation किससे होगा? सब पहले ये बताइए फोरम को.
Hydro sector is the most efficient in the sector and 60%...
Conversion efficiency is the highest.
हाँ?
Conversion efficiency is highest. किसी और type of power से conversion efficiency बराबरी की होगी?
कोई कभी नहीं हो सकती. कभी नहीं हो सकती. हम लोग जब हाइड्रो पावर स्टेशन डिज़ाइन करते हैं या हाइड्रो पावर प्रोजेक्ट डिज़ाइन करते हैं उस समय हम लोग 60% का बेस रखते हैं.
Right.
60% हमारे पास PLF होना चाहिए. तो 60% PLF को हम बेस मानते हैं कि इस जगह पर हमारा प्लांट टेक्नो इकोनॉमिकली सूटेबल होगा. Well, gentlemen, many things have been talked for last so many years, rather says last 20 years. And all the ills or perceived ills of hydro sector have been projected by, I'll say, vested interests. As on date, when we have known potential of 160,000 megawatt.
160,000 megawatt.
160,000 megawatt. And in 65 years of independence, we could capture only 42,000 megawatt till today.
Right.
And lot of efficiency in power sector. I'll go away from this sector for a minute. As on date, Ministry of Power and everybody is talking that there is a slump in power demand during 24 hours. It's a misnomer.
That's right. Biggest fraud.
Biggest
Perpetrated
fraud.
on the fraud.
Yeah, it's a
perpetrated
misnomer.
on the nation.
Well, gentlemen, problem is that there is extremely high inefficiency in distribution sector.
Exactly.
Money is not coming from consumer to distribution companies. So distribution companies are running in loss or subsidy or whatever name you give.
3 lakh crore.
हाँ,
ज्यादा सर
therefore,
5 लाख करोड़ हमारी
therefore
रिसर्च
the money is
5
not
lakh